Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi everyone, we are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily. We are so happy you're here. Today, we're talking about something that happens to every person in the world. We all forget things sometimes. Have you ever looked around your house and said, "Where are my keys?" Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? Maybe you forgot a friend's birthday, or maybe you forgot to bring something important with you. If you have, don't worry, you're not alone. And today's conversation will help you talk about these situations in natural English.
I like this topic because forgetting something is so common. Even people who speak English as their first language forget things every day. Sometimes I forget my phone. Sometimes I forget someone's name, even if I met that person before. It happens to everyone. The good news is that English has many simple expressions you can use when this happens.
That's right. Let's start with the easiest one. You can simply say, "I forgot." For example, "I forgot my keys," or "I forgot your birthday." This is one of the most useful sentences you can learn because you'll probably use it many times in your life.
Another helpful sentence is, "I can't remember." Maybe someone asks, "Where did you park the car?" You can answer, "I can't remember." It means you are trying to think, but the answer doesn't come to your mind right away.
You can also say, "I don't remember." This expression is very similar. For example, someone asks, "Did you lock the door?" You might answer, "I don't remember." Both expressions are natural, and you'll hear them every day.
Here's another one that sounds a little more natural in conversations. "It slipped my mind." I really like this expression. It doesn't mean something really slipped. It means you forgot something, usually because you were busy. Imagine your friend says, "Did you call your sister?" You can answer, "Oh no, it slipped my mind."
That's a great phrase. Here's another useful one. "I left it at home." Maybe you're at work and someone asks, "Where's your notebook?" You suddenly remember and say, "I left it at home." It means your notebook is still in your house because you forgot to take it with you.
One more sentence you'll hear often is, "I forgot to bring it." Imagine you're meeting a friend who asked you to bring a book. You arrive and say, "I'm sorry, I forgot to bring it." That's polite, simple, and very useful.
Let's practice with a few everyday examples. "I forgot my appointment." "I can't remember his name." "I don't remember where I put my wallet." "It slipped my mind." "I left my phone at home." "I forgot to bring my homework." These are all easy sentences that you can start using today.
Before we continue, we'd love to hear from you. What do you forget most often? Is it your keys, your phone, your homework, or something else? Tell us in the comments because we'd love to read your answers. And if you're enjoying learning English with us, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real English conversations.
Now let's talk about things people often forget at home because this happens almost every day. I think keys are at the top of the list. Have you ever walked to your front door, closed it behind you, and then realized your keys were still inside the house?
Yes, and I have another funny story. One morning I was in a hurry because I had an early appointment. I picked up my phone, put on my shoes, grabbed my backpack, locked the door, and walked to the bus stop. Everything seemed perfect. When I arrived at a small coffee shop, I wanted to buy a cup of coffee before work. Then I looked into my pocket. My wallet wasn't there. I checked every pocket again. Nothing. I laughed because I suddenly remembered that my wallet was still sitting on the kitchen table. I had to go all the way home before I could leave again.
That's such a common story. When people are in a hurry, they often forget one important thing. Sometimes it's a wallet, sometimes it's a phone, sometimes it's lunch. I've even forgotten my umbrella on a rainy day. I looked outside and thought, oh no, I forgot to bring my umbrella. I got completely wet before I arrived at work.
Students forget things too. A student might say, I forgot my homework. Another student might say, I left my backpack at home. These are very common sentences in English classrooms.
Here's a helpful idea if you forget things often. Before you leave your house, stop for just a few seconds. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Do I have my keys? Do I have my wallet? Do I have my phone? Did I bring my lunch? Do I need my umbrella today? This small habit can save you a lot of time later.
That's excellent advice. Nobody remembers everything all the time, and that's perfectly normal. The important thing is learning the English you need when these situations happen. With a few simple expressions like, I forgot, I can't remember, and I left it at home, you'll be ready to handle everyday conversations with confidence.
We've talked about forgetting things like keys, wallets, and phones, but there's another situation that almost everyone experiences. Have you ever met someone, started talking, and then suddenly thought, oh no, what's his name? It can feel a little embarrassing, but don't worry, it happens much more often than people think.
It really does. Sometimes I meet someone at a party or at work, and a few minutes later, another person asks me, who was that? I know the person, but I can't remember the name. My brain just goes blank for a moment.
That's a perfect example. One useful question is, what's his name? You can also ask, what's her name? We often ask this when we know the person but can't remember the name at that moment. It's a very natural question.
Another sentence is, I forgot her name. Maybe you met someone last week, but today you can't remember. You can simply say, I'm sorry, I forgot her name. Most people understand because they've had the same experience.
Here's something important for English learners. Native English speakers forget words too. Many learners think only beginners forget vocabulary, but that's not true at all. Even native speakers sometimes stop in the middle of a conversation because they can't remember the right word. It doesn't mean your English is bad, it just means you're human.
That's true. Sometimes I'm telling a story and suddenly I stop. I know the word I want to use, but I just can't think of it. Then I say, give me a second. This expression is very common. It politely asks someone to wait while you think.
Another useful sentence is, let me think. Imagine someone asks you a question, but you need a little time. Instead of feeling nervous, you can smile and say, let me think. It sounds natural and gives you a few seconds to remember.
I also like saying, I know the word. This tells the other person that the word is somewhere in your mind, but you just can't remember it yet. For example, I know the word, but I can't remember it right now.
Here's another expression you'll hear very often. What do you call it? Imagine you're talking about something, but you forget the name of the object. You might say, what do you call it? The thing you use to open a bottle. The other person will usually help you with the word.
Let's practice a short conversation. I say, yesterday I met your brother and, what's his name? Then you answer, David. And I reply, that's right, I forgot his name for a second. That's a very natural conversation.
Here's another example. Someone asks, can you explain this word? You answer, give me a second. Let me think. After a moment, you continue speaking. Notice that you don't have to answer immediately. Taking a few seconds is completely normal.
Sometimes learners worry too much about making small mistakes. They stop talking because they forget one word. But conversations don't have to be perfect. If you forget something, use these simple expressions and keep talking. That's how real conversations work.
Exactly. The goal isn't to remember every word instantly. The goal is to keep the conversation moving. When you stay calm and use simple English, people understand you much more easily.
Now let's look at another situation where forgetting something can be a little more serious. What happens if you forget a meeting, forget to call someone, or arrive late because something slipped your mind?
We've all been there. Maybe you were busy at work, studying for a test, or taking care of your family. Then someone says, "Where were you?" Suddenly, you remember that you had a meeting or an appointment. The first thing to say is, "I'm so sorry." It's a polite way to begin your apology.
After that, you can explain what happened. One of the best sentences is, "I completely forgot." For example, "I'm so sorry, I completely forgot about our meeting." It's honest, simple, and very common.
You can also say, "It slipped my mind." This sounds a little softer. Imagine your friend says, "Did you call me yesterday?" You can answer, "I'm so sorry, it slipped my mind." You're saying you didn't forget on purpose.
Here's another important phrase. "Thanks for reminding me." Maybe your coworker says, "Don't forget our meeting at 3 o'clock." You can smile and answer, "Thanks for reminding me." It's polite and friendly.
Sometimes you're running late, but you can still arrive. In that case, say, "I'm so sorry, I'll be there soon." This lets the other person know you're on your way. You can also say, "I'll be there in 10 minutes," if you know the time.
Imagine this situation. Your friend calls and says, "Where are you? The class started 5 minutes ago." You suddenly look at your calendar and realize you forgot about today's schedule. You could say, "I'm so sorry, I completely forgot. I'll be there soon."
Here's another example. Your mother asks, "Did you call your grandmother?" You think for a moment and say, "Oh no, it slipped my mind. I'll call her right now." That's a natural way to fix the situation.
A calendar can be very helpful when you have many meetings or appointments. I use a calendar on my phone every day. It gives me reminders before an important meeting, and that helps me stay on schedule.
I do the same. A reminder is a wonderful little helper because our memory isn't perfect. Even organized people sometimes forget things, especially when life becomes busy.
The important lesson is that everyone forgets something sometimes. What matters is how you respond. A polite apology, a clear explanation, and a promise to fix the problem can make the situation much better.
So remember these useful expressions. "I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. It slipped my mind. Thanks for reminding me. I'll be there soon." If you practice these sentences, you'll feel much more confident the next time you need to explain that you forgot something.
Those expressions can really help when you forget something, but here's another question. Is there a way to forget fewer things in the first place? We can't remember everything all the time, of course, but we can build a few simple habits that make everyday life much easier.
I like that question because we're moving from the problem to the solution. Nobody has a perfect memory, and that's completely normal. Instead of trying to remember every little thing, you should create habits that help your memory. That's much easier than depending only on your brain.
One habit that works well for me is writing notes. If I need to buy something after work, I write a quick note. If I have an important appointment, I write it down. Before I started doing that, I often told myself, "I'll remember later," and then, of course, I forgot.
I think we've all done that. We believe we'll remember, but then something else happens and our mind becomes busy. That's why a simple note can be so useful. You don't have to remember everything because the note remembers for you.
My phone also helps me a lot. I use reminders almost every day. If I need to call someone, pay a bill, or go to a meeting, I set a reminder. When my phone makes a sound, I know it's time to do that task.
That's a great habit. You can also use a calendar. As soon as someone tells you about a birthday, a meeting, or an appointment, put it in your calendar. Don't wait until later, because later often becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow sometimes becomes next week.
I even use sticky notes around my apartment. One time I had to bring an important document to work, so I put a bright yellow sticky note on my front door. It said, "Don't forget your papers." I saw it before I left, and it saved me from making another trip home.
I love making lists too. Before I go shopping, I make a list. Before I travel, I make another list. It helps me stay organized, and I feel much more relaxed because I know I haven't forgotten anything important.
Another useful trick is repeating information. If someone says, "Our meeting is at 3 o'clock tomorrow," repeat it. You can say, "Okay, the meeting is tomorrow at 3. Saying it again helps your brain remember it.
Let's practice some advice using simple English. You should write important things down. You can use your phone to set reminders. Don't forget to check your calendar every morning. You should make a shopping list before you go to the supermarket. These are easy habits, but they really work.
And remember, you don't need to change everything today. Start with one small habit. After a few days, it becomes easier, and soon it feels completely natural.
Now that we've talked about some helpful habits, let's see how these expressions sound in real conversations. Imagine you're listening to people during a normal day. You'll hear these kinds of conversations everywhere.
Let's start at school.
Did you bring your homework today?
Oh no, I forgot. I left it at home.
That's okay. Just remember to bring it tomorrow.
Here's another conversation at work.
Are you coming to the meeting?
I almost forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. It starts in 5 minutes.
Now let's visit the supermarket.
Did you buy everything on your list?
Not quite. I remembered the bread, but I forgot the eggs.
Let's go back and get them.
Here's one at the doctor's office.
Can I see your appointment card, please?
I'm sorry, I left it at home.
That's fine. Can you tell me your name instead?
Now imagine you're visiting a friend.
Did you bring the book you wanted to lend me?
I'm so sorry, I forgot to bring it.
Don't worry, you can bring it next time.
And finally, let's imagine you're getting ready for a trip.
Do you have your passport?
Yes.
What about your wallet?
Oh, thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot it.
These conversations are short, but they're exactly the kinds of conversations people have every day. The more you practice them, the more natural they'll feel when you're speaking English yourself.
And that's something many English learners forget. You don't need long or difficult sentences. Simple English is often the best English.
That's a wonderful point, Mike, because it brings us to one final idea before we finish today's conversation. Sometimes learners don't just forget their keys or their homework. Sometimes they forget English words while they're speaking, and that can make them feel nervous.
If that happens to you, don't panic. It happens to everyone, even native English speakers. I've stopped in the middle of a sentence many times because I couldn't remember one word. Usually I just smile and say, "Give me a second," or "Let me think," and then I continue talking.
That's exactly what real conversations sound like. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time. The important thing isn't remembering every word. The important thing is keeping the conversation going.
If you forget a word, use another word. If you can't remember a name, politely ask again. If something slips your mind, explain it with simple English. People usually understand because they've been in the same situation.
You can say, "What do you call it?" You can say, "I know the word, but I can't remember it." You can even ask someone to repeat something. These small expressions help you stay confident instead of becoming silent.
Let's think about all the useful English we've practiced today. We learned to say, "I forgot," "I can't remember," "I don't remember," "It slipped my mind," "I left it at home," "I forgot to bring it." These are expressions you'll hear almost every day.
We also talked about reminders, notes, calendars, appointments, habits, and lists. More importantly, we learned that forgetting something doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're human.
So here's our final advice. You should practice English a little every day. You can review new words whenever you have a few free minutes. Don't forget to use them in real conversations because that's the best way to remember them.
Every conversation teaches you something. Every mistake helps you improve. Every new word you remember today makes tomorrow's conversation a little easier than today's.
thank you so much for joining us. We hope today's conversation gives you more confidence the next time you forget something or can't remember the right word.
Keep smiling, keep practicing, and remember that learning English is a journey, not a race.
We'll see you again in the next episode. Until then, take care and happy learning.